Good evening, good evening. It's Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, the affordable housing crisis versus the luxury rental market boom and the majority leader, Tasha Darling. Tasha Darling, what are you doing? Join me tonight, Freddy Vazquez. Let's talk about the affordable housing crisis and the luxury market boom, the luxury rental market boom.
Let's get it popping.
I am Freddy Vazquez, and tonight we are going to get it popping. Yonkers. Let's go. Affordable housing, we need it.
Let's get it popping.
That's right, folks. I am Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, join me as we discuss affordable housing and the luxury market rate apartments that are going up. And what are the elected officials doing about it? The majority leader killed the housing ordinance. Wow. Let's discuss tonight.
A coalition of housing advocates, tenants, and lawmakers are launching a statewide campaign to address New York's housing crisis. This as funding for rental assistance is running out, and the eviction moratorium is set to expire in January.
We really feel like the time has come for permanent and transformative protections coming out of the pandemic.
Protections in the form of legislation, including providing permanent rental assistance for homeless families or those on the brink, prohibiting landlords from removing tenants except for what's outlined as good cause evictions and not as a means to sharply increase rent, and ending tax breaks for developers, building new market rate and affordable units.
Who's going to step in and develop affordable housing without significant subsidies?
Joseph Strasburg is the president of the Rent Stabilization Association, made up mainly of small property owners who are also struggling. He says legal protections are already in place for tenants, and additional legislation targeting landlords will only make matters worse.
My fear is that many of the small property owners this time next year will not be around.
The average rent across the city has returned to nearly pre-pandemic levels.
I was paid $1,600. He said, now the cost is $1,800.
Juan Carlos Yuca is now fighting in court to keep a roof over his head as he joins so many struggling to rebound from the pandemic.
According to Street Easy, the average rent in the city is now up to $2,700, and those pandemic deals are much harder to come by. Andrea Klein-Thomas, CBS 2 News.
Advocates are...
Wow. $2,700 is the average rent there in the city. And now I know why people are flocking up to Yonkers and Westchester County. The rent is just too damn high down there, but it's high here. And it's causing those who have been living in Yonkers all their lives, or most their lives, to move out of Yonkers in order to seek affordable housing. America's facing a housing crisis. Well, let me rephrase that. Average Americans are facing a housing crisis. Those who are fortunate not to need affordable housing have plenty of options, as luxury market rate rentals are going up everywhere. Critics across the country are currently experiencing, cities across the country, are currently experiencing both a luxury rental explosion and an affordable housing crisis. That is a red flag. In my opinion, what it says to me is that those with money are getting richer, while those in the middle class and working class are getting poorer and entering into poverty. Right? So as that happens, you're going to see a widening wealth disparity, a wealth gap start to emerge. And as many experts are predicting, there won't be a middle class soon. Right? Ultimately, this will serve again to create a wider wealth gap between the have and have-nots. So although we have a housing crisis, cities like Yonkers are developing roughly 5 luxury rental units for every affordable housing unit. According to elected officials like John Rubo, chair of the city's real estate committee, developers will not build in Yonkers unless the affordable housing ordinance remains at 10% and developers receive tax breaks. However, housing experts say the opposite. Currently, the city's affordable housing ordinance is at 10%, although a new 20% housing ordinance was proposed. The majority leader, along with fellow Democrat and majority whip John Rubio, voted no on the housing ordinance, although they supported it at one time. And the majority leader supported it from the very beginning up until it was time to get it done, and she voted no. She voted no, killing it. While John was voting no was no surprise. The majority leader, who herself is taking full advantage of the laws created to provide affordable housing to residents, did an about-face and completely opposed the new affordable housing proposal, which would have increased the required number of affordable housing units the developers had to set aside to 20%, doubling it, giving more opportunities for those who qualify to live in affordable housing to get an apartment along the Hudson River, rather than having to decide between Elm Street or Ashburton. The developers yell, I'm sorry, I'm going to play a video here where a developer, he's from New York, of course. So everything, this is going on across the country. States like Florida are also experiencing an affordable housing crisis, but also a luxury market or luxury rental boom, right? So I'm going to play a video here from Florida where a New York developer goes down there. And so people who are in support of more affordable housing are protesting. Affordable housing advocates are there protesting. And listen to what this greedy developer, piece of crap developer, says to the individuals who are protesting. And this is like, it just made me sick seeing this.
Millions of dollars to put up a very tall building here.
Downtown St. Pete is a land of new high-rises and construction cranes. The newest building will be the residences at 400 Central, luxury condos starting at around $800,000. Its builder, a New York billionaire with family ties here, says St. Pete is a haven for people leaving northern cities.
The taxes, if you live in New York City, between city and state, are $300 billion. And in Florida, it's less than $100 billion. So where's the money going?
Our displacement! Two protesters, one with a bullhorn, call for affordable housing, interrupting but also drawing return fire from the outspoken New Yorker.
God bless you, son. God bless you. If you work harder, you can live here. Go get a job.
Katsimatides, a former New York mayoral candidate,
he tells the guy that if he works hard enough, he can get maybe an apartment there, and then tells him to go get a job. That's what he says to individuals who are in need of affordable housing. So again, the developer yells at the advocates that if they work hard enough, maybe they one day could afford to live in the luxury high-rise that he is building. He then yells at them to get a job. The arrogance and blatant disregard for another human being is exactly who many of these developers are. And according to a report conducted on Boston's luxury market rental boom, many times these developments are used to launder money and avoid taxes, or simply hide their wealth, as many of the developments and properties are purchased and developed using shell companies. And the report I'm talking about is in regards to the Boston luxury market boom that they experienced there, and it talked about all the negative impacts that it had. And one of them, again, was creating a large wealth gap, right? A lot of the Boston area where once no one wanted to move, the downtown area, now started to have these luxury rentals developed, and people with lots of money started to move in, pushing out the folks that were living there at one point. And many of them are now moving even to Maine just to be able to find some affordable housing. And I posted that report on the page if you're interested. It's a great read. I think you should check it out. People need to understand exactly what is being done, okay? First, people must have a full understanding of what a city council member's job is. What is their job? They often are out there doing various things and wanting to get praises for it and put pictures up on Facebook, like, excuse me, like some pictures I'm going to show here in a little bit from the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, whatever. I'm sorry, the Hispanic Democrats, Yonkers Hispanic Democrats, as well as the Yonkers Puerto Rican Day Parade Foundation. What are they actually doing? What are their jobs? Do we know what their jobs are? Clearly the job description, right? Council members' job council members are there to address issues like the housing ordinance. That is what they get a salary for. A car with free gas, health insurance, and a pension for. They are not given all that paid for by taxpayers to simply hand out food at Chicken Island. They are not provided that by the taxpayers to show up at events and take pictures. And they certainly aren't paid by taxpayers of this great city to hold fundraising events and or attend them. They are paid by all of you, all of us, you and I, to address the housing crisis we have here in the city of Yonkers. They let taxpayer money, or they get paid taxpayer money to address the conditions that we see in Getty Square. Right? The homeless condition, the homelessness, the drug addiction. They get paid to address the gun violence and the burglaries and the rash of armed robberies that we've been seeing here in the city near the casino. People hitting the jackpot and then hitting a stroke of bad luck as they enter the parking lot to go home with their earnings. They're getting robbed. So what's going to happen when they bring full gaming and MGM comes and it's just full on gambling, which is a vice. Which is a vice like drugs and prostitution, right? They get paid by Yonkers taxpayers to address the needs of our Yonkers public school students. So before anyone wants to call me out or show me off some of the free stuff that they've handed out, because that, is what happens. People say, oh, well, why are you criticizing Freddy? And they do this and they do that. They're handing out free food and they're at, little events and stuff, giving out book bags or ponchos or something, right? Before you criticize me because they do all that, right? Ask yourself, are they truly addressing any of the things I mentioned by passing legislation or introducing legislation specifically to address the housing need, crime, or anything for mental health besides mentioning that the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month? Anything? Anything? It's not getting better out there. It's not getting better in the square. It's getting worse. The crime, the burglaries is getting worse. So where is the legislation? What policies are you implementing? Because Tasha, Diaz, you could spend every single day of your term at Chicken Island handing out food that was delivered by Feeding Westchester. You don't even have to be there technically. That can happen all by itself. But if you want to stand there and watch it happen, okay, every day of the week, that's still not going to make you a great council member because that is not your job. It's not in your job description. It's not what you get paid your salary for. It's not what you get a free car with this expensive gas for free. It's not what you get that for, okay? It's not why we pay you, the taxpayers. We want you to address the housing ordinance that you killed last year. We want you to address the rash of burglaries that have been happening, the smash and grabs, the in-store thefts. We want you to address the mental health issues so we're not seeing individuals who are in need of mental health services on the floor in Getty Square, or individuals addicted to drugs holding on to the gates there at Getty Square, trying to keep themselves from ending up on the ground. That's what you guys need to be doing. That's your job. That's your job. Right? So, and what about the kids, right? What about the kids? What have they truly done to impact the young people of the city in any way? Besides little 2 or 3 hour events where kids come to do some arts and crafts, things that nonprofits and community organizations should be doing and are doing, that's not their job. Their primary job is the city budget, which I see they've been having meetings on recently, almost every day. Today they had Yonkers DPW budget meeting, which is very important. I think you guys have to watch it, need to watch it, should watch it, should understand what's going on. However, it's obvious by the meetings that they are not interested in truly understanding the financial condition the city is in, or how to best manage the city's finances, or truly understand where the money goes. It's blatant incompetence, and too bad for you all that some of us understand what's going on, city council members. Some of us actually know what's going on, and we see what you guys are doing, right? I'm speaking about the majority leader because her seat will be up, and it is an important one, especially for many Latinos who live in the district, right? If people want to see things change, then it must be done one election at a time. Unfortunately, the majority leader, in my opinion, represents a lot of what's wrong with Yonkers politics. Her role is simply to be a great divider, and the people are divided. The majority leader, right? Those of people who are affordable or who are in need of affordable housing here, right, are majority people of color, unfortunately, and the elderly. Two populations that seem to be neglected quite often. What you're doing more so with these developments is pushing out individuals that you represent and supposed to be helping. There's a housing crisis. Your job as a council member, and all your jobs as council members, is to address that through legislation, which you failed to do last year. And you have yet to make that an important item. You guys show up at developers events. You put the shovels in the ground. You pass all these, legislations or approve for properties to be sold off. And then now talking about bonding possibly to build a new training center. But what happened to 470 Nepperhan? Do you even know the situation with that? Why did the city sell that property only to then rent it out and then now go and build a new training center? That's a waste of money. That's poor money management. What about the properties that they're going to auction off? Did you ask where that money going to go? How much do we anticipate on generating? Maybe that can go to the needs of some departments instead of bonding more money. Do you know how much money the city even has? Are you guys fully aware of that? And this is important stuff. We have a housing crisis, yet they're building a lot of luxury rental units. What does that say? What does that say? This is not for the people that are here in Yonkers. And even if you own a home on the east side, anticipate your expenses to go up because taxes are going to be going up by 2.9%. Did you know that? You already have to deal with increased cost of food, increased cost of gas, increased cost in your water bill, your light bill. Everything's going to go up. And it's going to continue to go up as the developers develop, continue to get tax breaks. The area around the developments are going to increase their rents. That's going to push people over to the east side. You're going to have more crowding on that side. But then there's not a whole lot of affordable housing on that side. So people are going to eventually leave Yonkers. People are going to be selling their homes. People are already talking about that. And what are the officials doing here in the city of Yonkers? I wanted to show this race, poverty by race here in the city of Yonkers. Blacks represent about 60% of the population, yet they are the highest member of the highest rate of poverty. Hispanics, and third it says Islander. Hispanics 19.44%. Top three, Black and Hispanics. And yet the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Hispanic law enforcement, and all these other Hispanic organizations and Hispanic leaders and socialites or social elites want to honor individuals who are not doing anything to improve this for the Hispanic community. I wanted to show this picture someone posted on Yonkers Spotlight. More expensive rentals on the Yonkers waterfront. More proof the complete riverfront will be off limits to people except those who have a view. The Hudson Piers project, which will be developed in 3 phases over a 6-year period, is expected to create 200 permanent jobs and 450 to 500 construction jobs. But we've heard that before, and many of our local labor force does not get those jobs, do not receive them. It will provide approximately 870,000 rentable square feet of residential space in buildings of 7 stories with more than 37,000 rentable square feet of ground floor retail space. They will be a mix of residential units ranging from studios to 3 bedrooms. The developments will feature 1.5 acres of new public parkland as well as a 1.5-mile-long esplanade extension that will adjoin to the existing public waterfront promenade. Plans also call for the construction of an elevated roadway to be named Riverside Drive, which will be deeded back to Yonkers, to the city of Yonkers. Right? But like that person said, if you are not paying for one of these expensive waterfront properties, you're not going to be really, you may or not, certain areas may have access, but eventually what's going to happen is maybe the elected officials don't make it private and the developers, but down the road, those who move in there, the new people coming from outside of Yonkers are going to have an issue with people hanging out along that pathway in front of their property. Because if you go down to the pier now in the walk area, you'll see people just hanging out, smoking weed, drinking alcohol. You see the beer cans, the liquor bottles. They're not going to want to see that. And they're going to call for that area to become private. And the elected officials at the time are going to go ahead and do that. That's what's going to happen. So we have to look down the road ahead a little bit to anticipate what's going to happen so we know what needs to be done today. Because that's a fact. That's going to go private. I believe that 1,000%. It's only a matter of time. And I want to show a little bit really quick, just this article. It's from Boston's luxury development boom. It's important because it gives a little bit of an idea of what we could expect here in the city of Yonkers. Among the negative impacts, the luxury boom invites higher land and housing costs. The luxury building boom is driving up the cost of land in central neighborhoods. So again, the ripple effect is going to be that properties outside, the apartments that people, outside of the developments, around the developments are going to go up. They're going to go up. And it's going to create an inequality, more unequal city, bringing more millionaires and billionaires to Boston will exacerbate an already grotesque inequality of income, wealth, and opportunity. Right. So again, here in the city of Yonkers, same thing. You're going to start to see these Lionsgate people. It's not the city of Yonkers that they're going to hire, folks. Who? Name me one person here in the city of Yonkers. Show me one person that qualifies for any of the jobs there. Not one. Now, one person in Yonkers, I believe, qualifies for any of the jobs that were listed at Lionsgate. Again, this has happened before. History repeats itself. It's happened in Georgia. And the people that moved into the area where the studio was built were from outside of that area in Georgia. They were already in the movie industry, and they just came in and took over, right? And they caused prices to go up. And that's what happened, and people were priced out eventually. And so, again, harboring criminal activity. Boston luxury buildings can be used for crimes ranging from international money laundering to tax avoidance, ecological degradation, weak public oversight. The pretext of an urgent affordable housing crisis has led to fast-tracking of dozens of luxury real estate projects. The government oversight bodies responsible for protecting the public's interests have become boosters of these projects. Sounds like Yonkers. Sounds like our majority leader in our Poom Poom shorts over there with the developers, an X-Tel with a little shovel after killing the housing ordinance. Does that not disgust you? It should. It should. It shows she doesn't care about those who are less fortunate, those who don't have, the means to live there on the waterfront, which will only get more expensive. Affordable housing crisis demand, rising rates lead to Salvang shortage. Oh, that means, oh, that's a town. So this is happening all across the country. These, this development and stuff. White House economists, we really need legislation on affordable housing. Did you hear that, Majority Leader? Did you hear that, John Rubio? Did you hear that all those who did not support the affordable housing ordinance last year? Rising housing costs have wreaked havoc on the wallets of potential home buyers as increasing mortgage rates continue to drive up prices. So they talk about a pathway to home ownership for people. How? Let's be realistic. High inflation has touched almost every sector of the economy, with annual consumer inflation increasing by as much as 8.5% in March, right? So again, the cost of rent is going up, and then interest rates are going up. So those looking to purchase possibly their first home are now going to have trouble and not going to be able to afford it because of the interest rates that are ridiculously high. So, I mean, the biggest concern that we need to have is just the big wealth disparity. That's going to happen. You're going to see a big, huge, difference in the classes. You'll see the rich. You'll see a lot of people with money in a certain area, Yonkers, and then you're going to see people, even though they got jobs that are paying $80,000, they're still going to live in areas that are high crime, because the majority of the affordable housing that are being built are in areas of high crime. Ashburton, Nodine Hill, Warburton Avenue. And they're building more luxury apartments than they're building affordable apartments. Right? So, what are they going to do with the people that get priced out eventually? Where are they going to go once the affordable housing units they do have are full? And people are already moving out. Some people are already getting priced out of the waterfront, I hear, as rents are being increased by as much as 20% down by the waterfront. It's only a matter of time before they price people out purposely. It's strategic what's being done. And our city council are not doing anything about it. The majority leader purposely killed the housing ordinance. That was the plan. No doubt about it. And for that, she received the majority leader title. John Rubio was a part of the plan, and he wanted to become the majority leader. So they gave him the majority whip title, because both titles come with additional pay. That's extra money. So we have to think about this and remember this when it's time to vote. Districts 1, 3, 5, and the mayor's seat is coming up. And what I hear is that they are going to push to remove term limits. That's right. They're planning on doing away with term limits, not adding a fourth, but completely doing away with term limits. And if that happens and people don't get involved, you're going to see this government that we have here for the next 12 years. And it's not going to change. And we have to also focus on the individuals that are part of this whole social elite club. Yonkers Hispanic Democrats honored Lorraine Lopez. And I'm not picking on the woman. Trust me, it's not about her. It's about the perception. It's about what it says. It's about how things are here in the city of Yonkers. What does the Yonkers Hispanic Democrats do for the Hispanic community? They throw a big gala that many Hispanics cannot even afford to go to. Does that even make sense? I want to show that here. Does that even make sense, folks? They honor Lorraine Lopez. Why? A woman that hasn't contributed much to the city of Yonkers, the Hispanics. And oftentimes her name comes up from individuals who speak to me, and it's not positive. So why would the Yonkers Hispanic Democrats or the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce honor the individuals? I don't understand this. What message is that sending to the Hispanic community? We need to know who people really are, and we need to know who we can consider truly Hispanic leaders. And there are not other people that you can honor. They don't understand this. I don't know if you can see that there. This is the fundraiser, spring fundraiser. Yonkers Hispanic Democrats of Westchester, fundraiser, spring fundraiser. It happened this past Thursday. Look, so for a member, $75. For an amigo, you're an amigo, $100. Acero, $250. Plata, $500. And oro, $1,000. Oh, way to keep it Latino. Prices include beer, wine, soda, dinner, buffet, dessert. But how many Hispanic members of this community in Yonkers here can actually afford to attend this? This is so elitist. This is so elitist. It is. Especially in this economy. 80% of the student population of the city of Yonkers live at or below the poverty line. The majority of the students in the city of Yonkers public schools are Hispanic and Black. Or a large percentage of it. I don't know if there's a majority, but a large percentage. The point is that their families cannot afford to attend this. This is so exclusive. It's only including people who have money. This is so elitist. And who are the elitists? Mr. Hector Lopez, the brother of Lorraine Lopez. I think they decided to take opposite sides of the law. He's always at the Hispanic things. He's a Hispanic leader. There goes Tommy Meyer. Tommy Meyer. These are elitists. This is the Yonkers elites. How dare they have a freaking event, the Yonkers Hispanic Democrats or Hispanic Democrats of Westchester have an event that the majority of Hispanics can't afford to attend. They can't even get laptops for their children. So who's attending these events? It's a bunch of nonsense. They get together and give each other awards to make each other feel good and collude. Grateful, honored, and humbled. Somebody sent me this because I don't even have her. I don't think I'm friends with Lorraine. Grateful, honored, and humbled to be recognized by the 2022 Yonkers Puerto Rican Hispanic Day Parade and Festival last night. An amazing board who does amazing work. Thank you all so much. What work do they do? Like these people just say stuff and it's just, oh, okay. Of course they're amazing. Of course the board's amazing. They honored you for no reason. In recognition of the sacrifices you have made that paved the way for us for a better tomorrow. How so? How so? When my Latinos are getting priced out or pushed to the ghetto. They're not giving anything. You have Tasha Diaz calling the police on them. Your niece, or whoever she is to you, Lorraine, calling the police. And the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is going to honor her. The Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, they deal with businesses, like the one Tasha Diaz tried to close or threaten to shut down because her daughter had an issue with the owner who was her boss. So she goes up there on a personal matter and threatens the owner, threatens to shut him down, brings police and fire marshals with her. This is what she does, and this is okay. And then the Yonkers Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is going to honor her. You lose your credibility. You can give yourselves awards if you want. Go ahead. Makes you feel good. They mean nothing. They mean nothing. I don't want your award. Don't think that I'm jealous. That's the first thing these people say, oh, you're jealous. I don't want an award. I don't want an award. What the heck does an award do? I don't want an award. I don't want a plaque. I just want to see people doing stuff actually for the Hispanic community because I'm out there every day. And I don't see none of you except for Tasha Diaz's Chicken Island food giveaway. That's it. I don't see Carmen Gomez Goldberg out there. Funny. Thought you didn't like Lorraine. Came out of your mouth. Telling me to watch her, right? Watch her for what? I don't have any turkeys for this deal. right? I don't see Hector Lopez out there. I see Lorraine hanging out with Tasha. And I'm told, don't talk about the community member. I don't care. I'm not looking for their support. If that's what you're looking for, then you and I are on different wavelengths. People want change. They don't want to pander to individuals because they're scared of them. For what? It's time for change. We need new people. We have a lot of Latinos, a lot of Hispanics that are looking to do big things, yet the same individuals assure that no one else can come up so they can maintain their little circle of award giving while doing absolutely zero for the community, but pretending to do things, pretending to sacrifice. How? Come on. I mean, you're honoring somebody that's honestly most known for committing crimes, for stealing. That's what people just say all the time. I didn't know that till people told me that. I didn't. And so I don't understand this, right? And when a Latino and a Hispanic is trying to open a business and they're having trouble with the building department, you guys don't help unless there's a reason for you to, unless you're, right? Because you guys are not out there fighting for the Latinos and Hispanics who need affordable housing, whose kids are having issues with their IEPs, yet many of them don't know how to navigate that, so their kids get lost in the system. Are you guys out there helping them with this? Because there are a lot of people. Are you setting up something? Did Lorraine help anyone with their IEPs? Did she navigate them? Did she help? Many families, Hispanics, oftentimes don't speak up. They don't even know. They have don't know clue what's going on because they don't speak the language. So their kids get lost in the system. Kids end up in the street. Are you guys helping individuals with that? Because I've seen several posts already from parents who are having trouble with their kids' IEPs because IEPs, the kids have not been evaluated for years. We're talking about 4 and 5 years now with no evaluation. And the ones that do get the evaluations are the ones that have the parents that advocate hard enough. But there are many Hispanics that don't because they don't want to ruffle any feathers. They don't want to rock the boat. They may be undocumented. So what's going on with that? Where can I send individuals who call and ask for that help? Where? Are you guys doing anything for that? Our schools are in much need of a lot. The schools that the Hispanics primarily go to, which is not the Charo, it's not Pulaski. So, I mean, this is nonsense. This is all nonsense. Nonsense. It's just nonsense. Nonsense. We have a circus here in the city of Yonkers, and it's ridiculous. And it just bothers me because I see so much need. I see Hispanics, my people, in so much need. And not just my people, but a lot of people here in the city of Yonkers in so much need. And these guys go around in their little events, giving each other awards like they did something. They haven't done anything for the people besides handing out food. I was talking to individuals today. Black woman, an elderly woman pushing a cart who stopped to start talking to me, and a Hispanic woman who was waiting for her Uber. And they say it. No one's doing anything for us. We're struggling. Everything is so expensive. There's nothing for the kids. Crime. It's dangerous out there. Drug addiction. People are saying it. People are talking about it. What are we doing? Anyway, so I want to talk about that because there is an affordable housing crisis. Congress are being asked to pass more affordable housing legislation because of the need. Experts are warning of the luxury housing boom versus the affordable housing crisis, and what will that mean to people who are not wealthy? What will that mean for our society and cities across the country? Widening the wealth gap, inequality in the educational system, in the quality of life, in the communities that people live in services that people receive, in jobs. So we have to address that. And it doesn't seem like our elected officials care because they don't do their jobs. They don't do their jobs. They skate by, handing out food, doing little things here and there that don't impact the people in a way that truly matters, that impacts them long term. Right? They just give them the food, don't teach them how to get the food, how to better themselves, better their kids. There's no real active or real strategy, real plan for that. Everything I see is just developers. So I want to point that out because there's a huge need, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get bad. It's already getting bad. And elections are coming up. So I'm going to keep reminding you guys. If they're building more luxury market rate apartments versus affordable housing, what do you think that means? Who do they want to see more of? And even the 10% that they are allowing and reserving in the developments, they're going to go to those on the higher end of the AMI. Right? So those who are making an average salary, the average yearly salary, are going to be fighting for affordable housing. And it's going to be in areas that you may not be happy to live in. That may be rough. That may be, concerning. Like No Dine Hill. Go move up to the new apartment up there. Got to be careful. So anyway, I want to just, again, talk about how our elected officials let us down. There's a housing crisis, and they're yet to introduce a new housing ordinance or any legislation to address the housing crisis, to address the fact that people are going to be pushed out of their neighborhoods that they're currently in. It's going to happen. Again, like I said in the last podcast, some of you folks may not be in Yonkers next year. And I want to stay in Yonkers. I don't want to leave. And I'm sure many of you folks don't want to leave either. And there's a lot of people that work in Yonkers that have to travel now. And I'm sure most people would like to be able to stay in Yonkers if they work here. A lot of teachers, police officers, firemen, DPW guys. They're just not going to be able to afford to buy a house here in Yonkers. The tax is going to go up. And they're going to have to drive an hour and a half north or into Pennsylvania so they can buy a house or even just rent an apartment and then come into Yonkers to work. But wouldn't you rather just be able to find a nice home in Yonkers, find an affordable apartment in Yonkers, and not commute very far? We want teachers also, right, and people who work for the city who are also residents of the city. They can be invested in the city. Teachers invested in the communities that they teach in. Not commuting from 2 hours away just to be able to find a place they can afford. So it's very important. Folks, just remember, our city officials don't care about us. They don't care about us. They don't care about us. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Thank you for watching. Please share. Don't forget the Dare to Share contest. You want to win $100 this month? Be the one that shares the most podcasts. Share the most podcasts and also information. If you have information that we can use on a podcast or you think we would find interesting and we use it on a podcast, you can make some money. So come make some money with Basement Politics. Share the podcast. I appreciate you supporting. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let them know Freddy Vazquez and Basement Politics is out here telling the truth. People are getting upset. They don't like it. But I'm going to continue to tell it like it is. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Thank you for joining me. I got to go get something to drink. I'm very thirsty. Have a good night, folks. Enjoy your day, your night, your evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Happy hump day. Where's my...
Let's get it popping.
I am Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you for joining me, folks. If you watch, thank you for watching. If you're watching at a later date, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Please don't forget to share the podcast. Earn some money with Basement Politics. $100 to the person that shares the most. Every month, we will have the Dare to Share contest. Win $100. Also, if you have any information that you think I can use on a podcast or I will use on a podcast, if I use it, you get paid. You can email me at politicwithfred@gmail.com. politicwithfred@gmail.com. And to the Latinos and the Hispanics, again, I want to remind you folks, you need to get involved. There are going to be some voter registration drives. I will be making announcements with more details on those voter registration drives. We want to get as many people registered to vote because in the next coming elections, we want you guys to, guys and ladies to vote. Vote, get involved. It's very important. So we will be doing some voter registration drives here coming real soon. I think the first one will be like in the next couple of weeks. So look out for that. We're going to put details, and I'll put it on the page. Other people are going to share. Okay. And if we're going to do this, it's very important. All of us, everyone in Yonkers who is looking for change, you have to support this movement that we are creating. So you have to tell a friend, share the podcast, and make sure that you join us at the voter registration drives. And if you know people that are not registered, because a lot of people are not registered, let them know. You have to register. It's very important. Very important. Very, 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 very important. So I will announce that as soon as I get all the details. We're serious about this. We are so serious about this voter registration drive because we want new people, new voters. We don't care about those people. Got to go. Same old recyclables got to go. Let's go. It's time for them to go. So I don't care about those folks. They're only here for themselves. They're greedy. They're selfish. They don't care about the community. They don't care about the majority of the people here in the city of Yonkers. And they show in their actions. So we want new people to get involved. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Thank you for joining me. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
In another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me. And I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
Tell him.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.
Oh, really quick. I did want to say this. The Yonkers Montessori Academy YMA Idol was a smash hit. I didn't mention this. There were over 500 people in attendance. 500 people. The students performed in front of 500 people, over 500 people. That's big. Shoot, some artists don't perform in front of that many. Real artists signed don't perform in front of that many people. So shout out to the YMA crew. Shout out to my wife. I got to give her this shout out. I had to stop this. Shout out to you, my beautiful wife. You did a great job. You smashed it. You blew it out. You hit it out the park, blew it out the water. Great job. Over 500 people. They raised a lot of money for the students. They're going to have an amazing picnic and other things I hear with the money that was raised. That's how you do it. That's how you get it done. The kids were happy, and they all can't wait till next year's YMA Idol. So shout out to my wife who did an amazing job. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Over 500 people attended. Wow. Shout out to the parents and the family members and everyone that came out and supported. shout out to you guys, because you made it amazing for the kids, and they're still talking about it. My wife is still getting emails about it, you know, saying how great it was. So shout out to everybody. That was dope. Shout out to you, boo. Great job, babe. And I know you got a lot more to come. And don't let them stifle you, you know, because at the end of the day, what my wife does, just want to put it out there, is for the kids. Okay? Don't stifle that. You're spiting kids. That's it. She does it for the kids. All right? Let her do her thing and watch how amazing she is. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Peace out. I had to shout her. Peace out.
Popping. Let's get it popping.
I had to shout you out.
Let's get it popping.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
No! No!